Welcome back to a new episode of our Revisiting Residencies series. Last time we went with Bulgarian author Alexander Shbatov to Skopje, and today we will be joined by Adina Popescu and go to Tirana, Albania. Who is Adina Popescu? She is a Romanian filmmaker and author. She was born in Bucharest in 1978. And she is also the senior editor of an important cultural journal called Dilema Veche. And she's been working for this great journal since she was 18. Adina Popescu, it's great having you here today. Welcome.
Hello, nice to meet you and thank you for invitation.
So you are a filmmaker, you are a writer. Your first, I think, children's book came out in 1999. Now you have also published quite a few publications for adults, and you also dabble in other things. I think you also wrote a book on corruption. So just tell us a bit, how do these different things that you do, how do they complement each other, and how do they perhaps diverge?
Yes. I'm asking myself the same question sometimes because a lot of things, different things that I do. But I think it is in a way specific for the long-term transition country as Romania. If you are a creative person, you have to do many things to survive and to express your creativity. I'm considering myself as a writer, a person that wants to write in the first place, but it's impossible in Romania to live only by writing. I think even in Germany or in more development countries, it's difficult to live from your writings. So most of my colleagues, writers, are professors, are teachers in college or university. I don't teach, but I do several jobs and things related with writing, like creative writing workshop with children and adults in the same time, like a meeting in the school with the people, with the pupils, and have some lectures. And my background is also related with the documentary films, because I finished the film directing university, film directing school. And this is great in a way because when I have moments that I have to stop writing and to stop, it's a different type of expression, to go on the field and meet authentic people. They will be my next characters in my books, but it's good to have this contact, this direct contact with real people, not to stay in only one room and write and imagine the things. So this is lovely in Albania that I have this research trip, and my first thought is meeting people and to see, not to write in the first place.
Okay, so that leads directly into my question about your stay in Tirana, Albania. I actually like the fact that you now talked about the precarious state of the creative industry. I think this is something that happens in Romania, and as you say, also in other countries that are perhaps deemed a bit more affluent. Like, everyone is talking how hard it is to survive. And I think that's also why we as TRADUKI, we love to give those grants to people to be able to go somewhere else and experience something else, but also to have this privilege to actually have 1 month to themselves where they can concentrate on their writing or their translating or their creative energy, let's say, in general, so that they can really push themselves. And it's not just people who have the means through, let's say, I don't know, their family, whoever, to have this time for themselves. But talking about family, so it was the first time that with this grant you traveled to Tirana, you traveled to Albania, but you actually have family history in Albania. Yes. So tell us a bit about that, and perhaps also tell us a bit about the Aromanian community and what that is, because some viewers might not even know about this.
First of all, I'm fascinated about the Balkanic countries and ex-communist countries. So it is one of my dreams to travel to all of them and to stay, let's say, 1 month in each country. So this is my environment, and I suppose you'll agree with me that it feels like home. All the Balkans, it feels like home for me. So it wasn't I don't know how to say, I wasn't surprised when I discovered these Albanian and Romanian roots in my family. It was one of my ancestors in the 18th century that came from Albania to Romania and established in Romania. He was a ship owner. We don't have so much documents, and it is such a mess to trying to looking in archive in Romania and to find these roots. Of course, there are some companies that are doing this for you, but I don't want to have this approach. I want to have my approach, and it's good for me because I don't know many things, and I can put it in fiction and fictionalize all the stories. So these ancestor, the man, the first Dedu, my family is Dedu, the name of the family, came in the end of the 18th century in Romania, and I know that he was a very rich guy. He had some political issues in Albania. That's why he left. So, sort of revolutionary. And after he came here, he got married, and all the family trying to develop, started to develop. So there is some stories specific to Romania after he came. So they lost a lot of part of their money and their fortune because of playing cards. It was very popular, or something. It is a very adventurous story. One of my
there's a whole story there.
Yes. One of my auntie, my father aunt, was in the entourage of the Queen Mary. So it was in the high life of the society. It was in her entourage, and she was married with a great Romanian hero, Stan Poetaș, the general Stan Poetaș. He had a big role in the First World War. I was interested in this family story, but in the same time, I was interested to go to Albania to see what happened with this Aromanian, because I wasn't very close to Aromanian community in Romania. There is a community, but there are fewer that in Albania, and they are a bit closed community. There are people with the same interests. They are working together, so it wasn't a purpose for me to get in this community. But in Albania, I met more authentic community. So not only rich people owning hotels on the seashore, there were peasants, let's say, ordinary people. So my feeling was that in Albania, half of the population had some Aromanian roots somewhere, because a lot of people knew the language, the dialect. A lot of people, educated people, came to Romania in the last year and study in Romania, and they speak Romanian. So in Albania, I speak every day in Romanian almost, and in Aromanian, because I understand the dialect, and in English, of course. And it was such a feeling that I was born there in a way. I don't know. It was, for me, it was a great surprise and discovering. And this community was so warm. And I made a friend. She's a journalist, Andreea, in Tirana. She was recommended to me by a Romanian girl. And we went to a community in Mecat, near Vlore. It's a small Aromanian community. And it was like, take a birek, this is our olive oil. It was a very warm welcome, and they are very glad to meet someone from the Aromanian community. I don't know how clear I was. Yes, but
no. This is great. I really like the idea that you went back, and that it felt like a real homecoming in a way. Although like your answers just came like decades and centuries ago. But so it was in a way homecoming, I guess. At one stage in the essay you wrote for our Revisiting project, you also say that you went to a museum and you're experiencing a bit the past, both of Romania and of Albania, which were both countries that were completely kind of closed off, that also had like very harsh security services and stuff like that. So there is this similarity, but to some extent, a lot of the times now it's said that Albania was almost the worst in a way, because it was so closed off by Enver Hoxha.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to get to here is that for me, it was once actually with an Albanian writer who, when he was discussing Romania, he was like, for us, when we were in Albania, to some extent, it felt like freedom going to Romania, because things were so bad in Albania that Romania seemed like freedom to us. And it shows you that it always depends on the perspective, because for most Romanians back in the 70s and in the 60s, it was horrible and they really felt closed in themselves. So I like this different perspective, but also now that you, so many decades later, when things have changed, now you go from Romania to Albania and you feel this sort of homecoming. But yeah, as I said, you went to Tirana, you also traveled around Albania, and you went to visit a museum called Bunk Art 2. So tell us a bit more about that.
I was also interested in this communist past, which is very similar with ours, and I'm fascinated, how I said, about this ex-communist country, because it is important to see how they developed after the fall of the communists, and there are the same mistake in every country. We are making the same mistake, and we are not learning from the other countries' mistake. This is interesting in a way. About the communism, about Romania and Albania, I had this feeling that we are a sort of sister countries, even we are not neighbors. So there are so many connections. There were so many connections between our two countries during the time. Even before the communism, it was in Romania. It was very much sympathy for the independence of Albania and for the modern state of Albania in the beginning of the 20th century. And a lot of revolutionaries from Albania came here and formed here some groups and fight for this independence. So it wasn't something new. In the communist times, I don't think Ceausescu was very close to Hoxha. Hoxha wasn't close to anybody. So Ceausescu, no, it was on his own.
Yeah, he was on his own terms.
Yes. Ceausescu was close to Tito in the first place. And the other similarity is the fact that Ceausescu tried to push away this pressure from the Soviet Union and show the West country that he is more liberal, but it wasn't more liberal. Hoxha, in the same way, he pushed away from the Soviet Union and get closer to China. And another thing Ceausescu did, go to China, and after this cult of personality was bigger and bigger, but because he saw in China how to make those big manifestations with the thousands of people, and they learn from each other. This museum, we have a similar one in Sighet. It's a town in Maramureș. It's a memorial dedicated to the victim of the communists. And I visit this museum. I visited, I think, twice or three times. Every time when I go to Maramureș, I go to the museum. I don't know how much could understand the young people from the people that didn't live and didn't know what it's. I'm talking with children, for example, with the kids that I met about the communists, and for them, it's like another planet. It isn't something real. It's a dystopia, something like this. And how should I explain them that you couldn't find something to eat, and there are many long lines in front of the shops, and they wait for 5 and 6 hours, and you get nothing. So I usually tell them that imagine that you go to McDonald's and you stay on the line 5 hours and 6 hours, and when you go to front, there is no hamburger anymore. They are finished, and the go home, no hamburger for you. And so it was very emotional to me to see this type of memorial, very, very touching and similar to the Sighet one. And I could understand the whole history from this. But for me, it was easy. I don't know if for a French guy or a German guy that didn't experience this, it's easy to understand. For me, the things were so in the mirror. Like we have the Securitate, they have the same services. I had the sensation that the regime was tougher than our regime, and it was this revelation that they have the sea, the Adriatic Sea, and the liberty was next to sea. So they have their dream, or it's a projection next to sea to the free country Italy. So that could be an explanation that they love now Italian food, Italian songs. Everybody in Albania is very close to Italy, and we have only this communist country around, Bulgaria, Hungary, Yugoslavia, and didn't have this chance to dream to the free country that they are the free country that are separated and on the sea. Sorry for
no. I see what you mean. Like you had a projection of something else, like a different future or something that's different to us, but it wasn't so, let's say, tangible or visible as with Albania, where we're literally staring at a different possibility of life across the Adriatic Sea. It was so close, but yes, it was so far. And it also reminds me again of something I think an Albanian writer wrote about how just going swimming would sometimes be dangerous, because if the water took you too far out from the coast, you could be accused of actually trying to flee to Italy. So it was even that moment of levity when you're swimming, was always actually a very precarious situation. Like you could never actually feel free in any sort of way.
But besides the museum, I want to tell that I had a wonderful host from TRADUKI part. It was Adrian Leka, the poet, Albanian poet, and he helped me a lot to understand better the context. And we have a tour to Tirana and show me some emblematic buildings and some spots where things happened, and it was very helpful for me to understand better the whole situation. Thank you, Aryan.
Thank you also from us. We love working with him. But so him. That's what we're trying to do here at TRADUKI, build bonds between all the different creatives. But so you were in Tirana, and a lot of the times, the people that take on one of her grants, they are like, okay, I'm going to sit down and focus and write. And this is, my time of peace when I don't have to interact with other people. But as you said, for you, it was really important to actually use the time in Tirana and in Albania to meet other people. And for that, you would then later on use it for your writing. So tell us a bit more about, you already talked a little bit about it, but tell us a bit more about the travels you did, because you really went everywhere in Albania.
Not
everywhere. What I understood. It wasn't just revisiting Tirana, it was revisiting Albania.
I want to come back this summer, and I will tell you later. But I decided to go to some important towns like Girocastra, which is in the UNESCO patrimony, and it's beautiful and it's very touristic. But I wanted to go also to Voskopojë. I don't know, in Albania it's the other name. Voskopojë is in Aromanian, so it's the lost city of the Aromanians. There is now it's just a village in the mountains. And Kocha is again a town that there is a community was developed. And so I had a plan and I had a diary. I came to Albania with the book that I started, I think 6 months before. And it wasn't a book about Albania. It wasn't a book about an imaginary country named Aledonia. It's a country, ex-communist country, Balkanic country in a way. And with this long-term transition and issues and everything, it was imaginary. But my idea is to have everything, little from all the countries. So something from Bosnia, something from, now it's more from Albania, but it's just because I have a long visit in Albania. But when I started this book and I trying to imagine this country and with a lot of details, and when I came to Albania, I had this surprise. It's something above us. It's something spiritual, I think, that many things that I imagine I found in Albania. So I had this feeling that I was in Albania before to come from the first time in Albania. So there is the mountain near the capital, which is near Tirana. There is the sea very close, 30 kilometers. So all these things, I think maybe I read some a long time ago, and there is a source of inspiration. I don't know, but I started to keep this diary, and I didn't give up to the idea to have a country that doesn't exist. I think it's better that to point of one country. This is Serbia, this is Croatia. No, all these countries are the same big village, our Balkan village. So there are a lot of, starting from food, which is very similar, and mentalities, and it's. I think it's more beautiful to have a country imaginary, to have a little bit from all. So that's what I was doing, keeping this diary every day with details, with some things like some thoughts related with the language, because I like very much to hear the language. I didn't understand everything, and faliminderit, it's thank you. It's one of the few words that I learned in Albania. It's hard to learn Albania, but in the same time, it seems to be a sound very familiar, because they have like in Romania those sounds that we have also in our language. So I heard the language. I go to the market in Tirana, the peasant market, and drink some beer and eat some meatballs. We also have the meatballs. Mititei is in Romania. They have the same meatballs. So I visited museum, starting from the National History Museum. It's a chapter in the book with Albania, with the history in museum. I go to the beach in Duras for 2 days and visited. It's a very melancholic city for me, and it has something very poetical. Duras, even it's not a good administration there, and the buildings are sometimes in ruins, and but it was I don't know how to say. It was a mood. It was a mood in every spot in Albania. I was to Rrudha. Rrudha is a little bit in the north, where is the castle of his their national hero, Skanderbeu. We have the same hero, Mihai Viteazu. So other similarities. So with the same cult of personality in a way, and this is the castle. He was a hero. What we didn't have in Romania is this Muslim influences, Turk influences, because we weren't under a Turk occupation in Romania. But this mosque, it is different then. But the other things, I was in the south, in Sarande, when there is a bust of our historian Nicolae Iorga, who discovered a lot of things about the Albanian roots and the Illyrics, ancient roots, and so I think, and I like it to make it alone, to travel alone. Not always I like to travel alone, but in Albania I felt very safe and very open. I didn't have the car, which was a release, because when you have the car, you have to think about the car and
the parking and everything.
And everything, yes. And I travel with the local transport, which is not great at all. They don't have railway station and the railway infrastructure. So there are little teeny buses, microbuses, and very crowded. But I accepted this. If I was in my country, I would be very nervous. And what about this there? But not there. It was an opportunity to see people, to see ordinary people with what they are carrying from one part to another of Albania, what they are eating. And this is for me, I don't know, for a writer, this is the source of inspiration.
Just for our viewers, I just also want to say that on the Revisiting Tirana page, you can also read 2 excerpts, I think, from this novel you were just discussing. So if you go there, you will find that. But just coming back now, I think you already mentioned this, but so Tirana, Albania was great experience. You made friends and you're also thinking of going back. So tell us maybe what are your future projects in general, but also maybe of going back to Albania, and are also maybe future work projects related to that country.
I have a lot of plans, but I don't know if I could make all. So in the first place, I want to come back this summer with the car and my partner, because I want to have a companion in my second trip. The first trip in a country, it's also good to make it solo alone. But the second trip, it's not the same. I know the country. I can be a guide there now. So I want to come back and to see a little bit from the north that I didn't see, and something in the south. And I want to stay maybe 4 or 5 weeks in Voskopojë, because I was only one day. It wasn't enough. I just felt the mood of the place, but not. I want to stay there more. And the most important thing is to finish this novel that I'm working on, and I hope to finish till next year. And this trip will help me again. And I want to thank TRADUKI for this opportunity. It was the research trip was amazing. Maybe I'm thinking, and the whole experience and the relation with you was very, very nice. And I'm thinking to apply again to finish my book. I don't know if other plans are related with the Aromanian communities, because I'm keeping in touch with the journalist Andreea, and they have a lot of projects, and we promised each other to help in this. I promised the community Mecat that I will come back, and maybe we'll film something, and maybe we'll start a documentary. There are a lot of documentaries about the Aromanian communities, but I think that it's good that this community to be seen and to be known, because it's I'm thinking only about the language will be lost if the next generation will not speak anymore. So it's important to show the people that there is a language that could die in 10 or 20 years. So I'm very excited to go back this summer. So I think June or July will be.
For us, for the organizers, it is just wonderful to see that you've really built a lot of bridges and found new friends in Albania that, are relationships that will be sustained and probably even nurtured in the coming years. So this just all sounds completely fascinating and wonderful to us. Thank you again for being with us today, Adina. Thank you for writing the wonderful essay, which our viewers can now read also on the website. So yeah, this is just wonderful stuff. For everyone watching, if you want to find out more about Adina, there's also a book available by her in German. I think, Adina, if I'm correct, you wrote it together with a German author called Jan Cornelius. It's called Berlin, Bucharest, No Return. Why aren't Romanians more like Germans? A bit of a maybe controversial title for some, maybe. Let's see. So you can definitely check that out in German. If you want to find out a bit more about Albania, perhaps, of course, we already mentioned the wonderful Arjen Leka. There's also books available by him in German. You will find them in the description box below. There's also, of course, now Lea Ipis Free, which is also already available in several languages, or also books by Elvira Dones and many others. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you again, Adina, for being with us today.
TRADUKI. You are making a great job.
Thank you. We wouldn't be able to do it without the authors and the translators. So we return the compliment. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you next time at a different episode. Who knows where we're going? But yeah, just stick around and you'll find out. Thank you so much and see you soon.